And welcome to SS School Special Day 56. We are about to reveal our top 6 here at the studio. But I don't know what happened to Wallace Jr. 23. He must be dead or something.
Hello.
Oh, he's here.
I forgot to turn on notifications. Kind of. I was alive. Don't worry, guys. Hold on, I need a screen share right now.
Do you have another war?
Another war? No.
Clemsonville.
No.
Okay, so what are you screen sharing?
Share?
This is him.
The countdown.
It's not really a countdown.
I gotta go eat. I'll be back.
What is that? What are you eating?
Chicken nuggets.
Lucky. Okay, but we're going to reveal our top 6 to you guys here at home. Going in, I would say a lot of teams are still in the race after last week because even those top teams can lose. And a lot of you probably know my top 6. You guys probably guessed it. I don't have Washington in the top 6 after the loss to USC. I think I have them outside, maybe at 7 or 10. 7 to 10. I have this: Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson, and then Louisville, Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin is deserving. They've played a tough schedule. They played Michigan, Ohio State, LSU, you name it. They played a lot of good teams. 2 losses. The 2 coming to Michigan, Ohio State. That is a team that can go to the Rose Bowl. If you have that kind of resume. They did not play Penn State. They played Michigan State. We thought at the time was good. Really, Michigan State's bad. The reasoning for Louisville, they're still a team that is good, and one more Clemson loss, they're in the ACC. If Clemson loses this week to Wake Forest, they are in the ACC championship. Clemson has to win to make the ACC championship this week, as Louisville is done with conference play. They have Houston and Kentucky left. Both of those teams fell apart. Alabama at the top. Everybody knows why Alabama's at the top. Undefeated. Whenever you're undefeated and you play in the SEC, you have to be at the top. They beat USC, which they blew them out week 1. Okay, now when you think USC was terrible after week 4, but now USC is, they beat Washington. USC beat Washington. That win turns from worth nothing to now it's worth a lot after the Washington win for USC. So Alabama, if they lose one game, they're still in the top 4 because of the USC win, because of the LSU win, because of the Tennessee win, because of the Texas A&M win. They don't have enough losses to be knocked out. If they lose their last 2, then they can be knocked out. But they're already in the SEC championship. I don't know how they can get knocked out because an SEC champion should be in. especially Alabama's resume. You can't deny that they are the best team in the country. Obviously, Ohio State or Michigan could beat them, but they don't have as good a resume. Their team might be better, but their resume is no match for Alabama. Ohio State, the Penn State loss doesn't look bad on their resume. And that's the only loss they have. Because Ohio State, if they can make the Big Ten championship, they could be there. Well, let's say Ohio State wins out, but Penn State makes the Big Ten championship. Let's say that happens. Do you still have Ohio State in your top 4 at that point? Because Penn State the Big Ten championship. Then the question is, do you put Penn State in the top 4? Obviously, Michigan would be out because they would have no chance. But would you leave 2 Big Ten teams out from the East? So I'd probably have Penn State probably around where Washington is. Penn State beat Ohio State. Washington, who did they beat? They beat Utah. Okay, now Washington is where Texas A&M was, basically. At least Texas A&M beat UCLA. Okay, Washington, you gotta step it up. Washington, they can't lose their last games. They could still make the playoff if they win out. They could, if they get some help up front from like Penn State, for instance. That could wipe out Ohio State and Michigan. Penn State makes the championship. But Ohio State, if Penn State makes the Big Ten championship, does Ohio State stay in the top 4? Because Ohio State, they have to have Penn State lose to either Michigan State or Rutgers. Having that end of the season, like, you're not going to lose. Michigan, out of all 4 of these teams, I think Michigan has the toughest schedule. Well, Alabama probably does. But of the other teams, Wisconsin, they got Purdue and Minnesota. Minnesota's decent. Purdue is bad. Say this, Wisconsin, if they lose their last 2 games, they're not in the Big Ten championship. They have to win at least one of the last 2 to make the Big Ten championship. So you have 4 Big Ten teams that potentially could make it into the playoff. The only other conference that is close is the ACC with 2. But they're not going to get multiple. The ACC is not going to get multiple. Unless we have some insane... Okay. The ACC. I don't see how Clemson and Louisville are going to get in. If whoever makes the ACC championship, they could both not make it. If Louisville loses their last 2 and then Clemson loses their last 2, then they're both out. Even if they beat a good Virginia Tech team, they're both done. There's no lock here. When you have the numbers 7, 8, 9, 10, those teams could be up. Those teams could get in. The Big Ten could get 2 to 3 teams in if both those teams lose their last 2 games. Even if they win the ACC championship, it doesn't matter. If Louisville loses to Kentucky and Houston, and Clemson loses to South Carolina and Wake Forest, even if they beat a good Virginia Tech team or North Carolina team in the championship, that is not good enough. That's not as good as Wisconsin's 3 losses. Louisville's 3 losses, at that point, Wisconsin will probably have 3 losses. even if they lose the Big Ten championship. That's still better. Losing to the guys ahead of them, Ohio State, Michigan, and then maybe they lose to Penn State, let's say that again. Then they would have played the best they would be the fourth best team in the Big Ten. But they are still good enough. Would you put Wisconsin, if they lose to Penn State, of Ohio State, Michigan, whichever one doesn't play in the Big Ten championship? Wisconsin is, honestly, Michigan is bad. Better than Michigan at this point. Michigan, they showed weaknesses last week against Iowa. That is not the Michigan team that can win a national championship. If they win out, though, if Michigan wins out, they're in. There's no questions asked. If they beat Indiana and Ohio State, they're easily in. Then the question is, Wisconsin could still get in. Penn State, well, the official rankings come out late tonight. I think it comes out 8 tonight. Late. They're coming out. But anyway, I'm going to end the live stream. Peace out.